KEFI is an AIM-listed gold and copper exploration and development company focused on the Arabian-Nubian Shield. It has a pipeline of projects in the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This month, it officially launched the Tulu Kapi Gold Project in Ethiopia. To talk about that and more, I'm delighted to be joined by Executive Chairman Harry Anagnostaras-Adams. So thank you, Harry. How long did it take to get to the launch of Tulu Kapi, and will the process from now on be a little bit quicker?
Well, it better be, in the sense that the discovery was 15 years ago, and production should be 2 years from now. So, it'll be a different pace. But having said that, the average globally for time elapsed from discovery to production is somewhere between 15 and 20 years. So it appears that no matter what your idiosyncratic circumstances are, or ours have been, we've ended up smacking the average globally. So there you are, whatever that means. But the main point is what you've made. And that is, it's a lot quicker now that we can trigger and get going.
So obviously what's to come includes an exhaustive list ranging from early works to key economic metrics. So I'm just wondering, what is the priority?
Well, all the homework's been done and all the homework's been presented to the whole syndicate. There's about a dozen parties and they've all been through it and happy with it. And various stages of approvals, but we've all agreed it's time to press the button, because the early works is really to ensure that when we all sign the dotted line on our detailed contracts, that we are truly committed to each other, full understanding of the near $1 billion of commitments involved altogether between the capex of $320 million and the OPEX contracts we'd be signing at the same time that are over $400 million of OPEX. So early works is really making sure that the community, the engineering, the final pricing refreshers, the government, everybody is absolutely committed to the same thing, so that there's no if, buts or maybes when major construction starts.
So as you said, it's taken 15 years to get to this point, but a superb time to launch the project if you look at the geopolitical situation in Ethiopia and concurrently the price of gold.
Yeah, no, well, how would I put it? The reason that projects globally take 15 to 20 years is because most of the cards are not controlled by the management or the company. Geopolitics isn't. The price of metals isn't, acts of God are not. But in this circumstance where A, we have the project ready to launch, B, we have a healthy pipeline of projects coming along behind, is under our control, and that's what we've managed to achieve. But the fact that, as you say, the countries have turned for the better the last 2 years and now are particularly proactive to support the launch of the mining sector in both countries. And it's an all-time high, like in the history of mankind, they're all-time highs. And so the alignment of those extraneous factors with where we are is serendipitous, it's wonderful. And the timing couldn't be better for us to have the opportunity to deliver against that, and that's a wonderful opportunity.
I love that word, serendipity. I was interested in what you said earlier, whatever else it contained. So in terms of what Tulu Kapi contains, what does preliminary work suggest it contains in addition to the gold?
Well, Tulu Kapi itself has potential beyond what we've reported. What we've reported is that the open pit will deliver 150,000 ounces a year, and the underground should should take us up to about 200,000 ounces a year. Now that of itself, with the little bit of silver that comes with it, that of itself means that if it was operating today at today's gold price and silver price, it would generate a net £100 million a year for KEFI. Now, this is for a company today with a market cap of some £40 million. So, the other projects in the company, the other ideas we have in the company, frankly, are additive, obviously, and extremely important in conveying our business and our mission. But that serendipity we were talking about is striking, isn't it? That as we stand at today's metal price, our planned 80% of the Tulu Kapi project will generate £100 million net for KEFI.
So am I hearing that correctly? You own 80% of it, Harry, even though the syndicate's quite large?
Yeah. We today we are 95 and will be diluted by part of the transaction because the government's coming in for more, and when they finish their work that they have to do, they get shares allocated to them, which dilute us. But the way in which the finance is structured, we've worked extremely hard for years to raise the finance down at the regional level from banking, project finance, and from equity capital notes, high-yield notes, that we can avoid converting into equity by repaying them in cash. And so, because of the strength of the gold price, if it stays at that level, as I said, if it stays at that level, we have more than enough cash to repay the debt and the equity risk notes with cash. We retain our 80%, and it generates £100 million bottom line for the company. So, obviously we don't know if the gold price can be sustained at that level. But even if it pulls back 20%, that works. It's just a smaller number on the bottom line, which is still way in excess of our current market cap. So the prize is actually screaming at us now. And, our motivation and our reward, if you like, our potential reward for everybody is so large that it's just smacking us in the face today. And we just, really just have to get on with it and deliver.
So maybe people are restraining themselves from screaming until production commences in 2 years' time. So I'm extrapolating that you're fully funded until the first production in 2 years' time.
Yeah, in terms of the Tulu Kapi development project, the whole syndicate covers the whole thing. And we have to confirm the final numbers on the plant and the community at the last minute, because we have to pay it quickly within deadlines of 60 days upon confirmation. But, if there's any slippage, it'll be a relatively small number, and we can make it up within the syndicate. So this is if I may say, and subject to us, completing it and delivering, it will have been a remarkable achievement that we've managed to fund the whole project out there. Mind you, this is, if you like, ignoring that 100 million has been already invested in the past. That's already done. And it's because of that we are where we are. The shareholders of KEFI have invested $100 million in the past. And we inherited the shareholders of a company called Nyota, and then we put in more money since. And those two bodies of shareholders combined have put in $100 million, so they deserve these rewards. Don't get me wrong, but because of the robustness of the economics of the project, and because of our efforts over the last few years, we've put together the financing down in the subsidiaries of the project rather than relying on the stock market.
So you talk about remarkable achievement there where Tulu Kapi and the funding is concerned. Would you describe the portfolio as a whole as a remarkable achievement? What's happening with the rest of the projects and assets?
Well, I think it has remarkable potential. I don't have I don't take for granted that we have a lot of work to do to deliver everything we've assembled. But how would I put it? The flip side of going into a frontier market, which is what we've done in Saudi Arabia and Ethiopia, ahead of other people, and taking on risks ahead of other people, and having to deal with government regulatory reform ahead of other people. That creates all sorts of angst and frustration and cost and delay and all those things we've suffered. So, one learns to be a little bit cautious and not to skite. But eventually, if you've got the capacity to stay there and hang in there, and the project is worthwhile, which obviously Tulu Kapi is, and our projects in Saudi Arabia are, the rewards come. And I think the exciting thing is that now that the geopolitics has settled down, and better than settled down in that we can get cracking, the metal prices are all-time records. I mean, that is just pure luck. And it's perhaps one of the only lucky breaks we've had, but hey, it's a pretty big lucky break, yeah.
A recent analyst's note, Harry, which you'll be aware of, suggested that the portfolio as a whole is capable of generating free cash flow full year 27 to 32. So there's the 5-year view. I'm assuming that you're in agreement with the analyst predictions and calculations which you would have provided to them.
Yeah, well, we gave him the raw data, and he did all the sort of numerics on how you value the thing. So they've taught us on how you value the thing, and we've given them data to use. But we commissioned that report because I've forgotten how many pages it is, but it's 30, 40, 50 pages, whatever it is. And stockbrokers, by and large, don't have the time or the resources to do in-depth research like that. And so we sponsor that research from people who are competent to do it, to actually get somebody to write it up in great detail so that it is available for those who sort of want to deep dive, And he does point out some other things like the industry sort of moving into the territory where we went into all those years ago. The industry is now coming in. And that's a lot. That also alleviates a lot of risk because there's a lot of other people around. They're pushing shoulder to shoulder now. It's not just we don't feel so lonely. So it's a good time. I don't mean that sort of facetiously or anything. It is important to have the industry turn up and push together as an industry on things that require policy or whatever changes.
You're not lonely, though, Harry, because I do know you've got many long-term shareholders, and some of them are asking, what's the possibility of a dividend distribution? Is that part of the overall strategy? Well,
let me put it this way. I think one of the reasons the micro caps and junior cap miners have been so unloved for so long is that they, by and large, are known to chase dreams and not to build businesses. And I've always prided myself on being the opposite of that. And one of the things that drives me to keep at it when things are difficult is to deliver the birth of a business and the prosperity of a business. And I've been involved with a dozen, projects or company creations over my career, and they're all are good businesses. And this will be a good business too. Now, if we were operating today and we were generating the cash today instead of, 2 years from now, and we were generating that £100 million a year of net cash flow, we would be declaring a huge dividend without blinking an eye. That's because we're in it to make money, and it would be a wonderful reward for shareholders. But putting that aside, no matter what the gold price is going to be in the future, it's part of our mission to deliver rewards for the stakeholders, the shareholders in particular. We try to live by the highest international standards on everything we do, but we are determined also to actually build a business and pay dividends. That's what I'm trying to do, and fortunately Tulu Kapi is robust enough to allow that, and metal prices are now likely to be a lot better than I had anticipated personally, which I've given you a long-winded answer to simply saying yes, but I wanted you to understand sort of the packaging and the reasoning.
Okay, so finally, Harry, I love that trailblazing a frontier market. So finally, why now should shareholders add KEFI to their watch list? Because you are much more than Tulu Kapi.
Well, what I say might sound pretty arrogant, but I'm not usually wrong, and I'm almost always right. But the timing is the elusive thing, Getting the timing right is the tricky thing when you don't control all the cards at the table. From a management point of view, we have to grin and bear it and just persist and deliver. From a share investor's point of view, they have the wonderful opportunity not to have to grin and bear it. They can sell the shares and move on to some other share and come back later. They can always do that. They have the opportunity to go in and out, whereas we just go there on the ground and flog ourselves and everyone around us every day. And the beauty of this moment to me is that if I was an investor who was sitting back and studying the universe of opportunities, and I was interested in gold, I was interested in chasing multi-baggers, not just chasing a yield on a mature stock, then if you don't invest now, when would one invest? Really. If gold, not just gold lined up, but the geopolitics is lined up, and the project is lined up, and the finance is lined up, and the people clearly are trusted by the banks and the government and the contractors, they clearly know what they're doing. Well, when would one get involved if it's not now? I'll put the question back to the listener, but I think the timing is the most elusive thing to get right, and certainly between now and major construction, to me, is a huge opportunity to watch it carefully and to consider when to get involved.
Beautiful. Harry Anagnostaras-Adams, KEFI's Executive Chairman, thank you very much indeed.